Hello YouTube, this is Stefan for Bushcraft Holland and for the Dutch Bushcraft Association. As I said in a previous video, I went to Sweden for a hike, do some bushcrafting for 1 week, and of course I did bring some knives, and I promised to discuss the knives I brought and give them a small review about their functionality. Well, first of all, what I brought was the two EDC knives. That's a Victorinox Waiter and the Columbia River knife and tool model Wrangler. Very small, and they are just for in the bus or when in town. They stay in my pocket always, so they don't go in my bag, just in the pocket, because they're not too big and you can show them anywhere, even when you're sitting somewhere on the streets and the cops are passing by. Then for food preparation, both in the bus and in the field, I brought my old and trusty Opinel number 10, which I modified a bit. It's carbon steel, but the patina is very good, very strong. It stayed on there well, had no rust issues whatsoever. The only problem, because of the environment, we were at lakes. I did clean several fish. Of course I did wash my knife regularly after cutting meat and etc. And what you notice is that the wooden handle will expand a bit, so it will get more and more difficult to open and close the knife. So I have to look for an alternative if I go to wet environments. What I also have with me is my Leatherman, what is it? The Sidekick. Leatherman Sidekick, very functional pair of pliers. There's not too much on it, but enough. I carry it in a pouch on my belt, but there's also a clip for carry in your pocket or in your waistband, for instance. Very good tool, I like it a lot. Ever since I bought it, this is a tool that's coming with me when I go outdoors. Then I showed you the pocket knife that's always with me. It's just an old Victorinox soldier model. This one dates from the earlier years of the Dutch army. It says here KL 92. It means this knife dates back from 92, but I have older ones. When I was in the army, my knife came from 83, and I was in the army in 85. You can find these here in Holland at least, sometimes rather cheap in the second-hand stores, and they're very functional, very sturdy. And I use the carabiner that came with the Leatherman, and I attach it to this keychain attachment that's on my belt when I'm out in the field. So this is actually standard for when I'm outdoors, and it includes a knife also, this knife. Then for the bushcraft tasks, I brought with me the Enzo Trapper in D2 steel, which again I modified a bit. I changed the shape of the handle and the shape here of the choil. I did not change the shape of the blade itself, the cutting edge. So this is candy grind. This is just to pull it out of the sheet, and it's stuck in there. And the sheet is, they call it the Western style sheet. I have a ring attached, and this is because then I can also add it to this key ring attachment. So it's very simple for me to add the knife or lose a knife put it back in my backpack or in my other pouch. So that's why I use this system, just for simplicity. I did use it, and the D2 steel did rust a bit, not too much, although it was a wet environment. We had good weather, but we were always around lakes, and we did have rain during the nights. At one time I was cutting the bark of a fallen barge tree, and when I was cutting, I slipped and I hit the floor. I hit some rock, and actually a very small portion near the point chipped. It did not bend, it did not roll, but it chipped. So I just lost a small piece of steel, and the only sharpening equipment I had with me was this sharpener, which is included with the knife I will tell you later about. It's a diamond sharpener. And I had my Volknieven DC3, which has a diamond sharpener and a stone. It's a combination. A very nice sharpening device, this one. So this one did function very well. I didn't use it to Baton because I brought another knife to Baton. Normally when I go into the woods, I go with the canoe or something else, some other thing of transportation, a car for instance, a motorcycle. And I don't really have to care about the weight. This time we went hiking, and I promised myself to make sure I reduce the weight before the next hike. So this is a very sturdy knife, and I also consider this together with my Volknieven F1 as a backup survival blade. So I might use this as a backup survival blade in the future, not as my primary bushcraft knives when hiking. It's 3.5mm thick steel, so it does weigh a bit. So the knife I brought with me is maybe not so famous. It's MFH, Max Fuchs something, International Corporation or something. And it's a heavy knife, a heavy blade. And I brought this for all the heavy tasks, like batoning, like prying, like digging. It's a Tento style blade, and actually it's more tactical. I don't have any use for tactical blades, but I do like the Tento. I do like because it's a very straight edge, and I think that helps when batoning. And also, as we all know, it's a very strong blade. A Tento shape is very strong, and also this is over 6mm thick stainless steel. They don't specify what kind of stainless steel, but it's sharp, and it stays sharp even when batoning. But the weight of this knife is, well, rather an issue. This weighs over 500 grams. I don't know how much exactly. I will weigh it when I get my new scale, because my kitchen scale broke. I had to use a very simple one, and it doesn't weigh more than 500 grams. So I'm going to have to buy a new one, maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and then put the weight and maybe add it to this video, the exact weight of this blade. But it feels like almost as heavy as a small axe. It's very sturdy though, so you don't have to worry about breaking it. Well, the sheet is plastic with some covering of nylon, a small pouch which includes the sharpening stone, sharpening device. This one snaps, so it feels very secure inside the sheet. And this one is too heavy for on my belt, so I transport this one in my backpack, in the main backpack, because I'm only using it when actually making a fire. Well, actually preparing the wood to make a fire, I must say. So it's a good knife, but not when hiking. I think it's too heavy. And actually in Sweden I didn't need a knife this strong. You do need a strong knife for batoning, but over 6mm thick and very heavy build, Tanto style, is maybe a bit over the top. So I could use another knife and reduce some weight again. But overall, they performed very well. They all did perform very well. But as I said, maybe I can exchange this one for one stainless steel knife just for kitchen use, food prep. I'm thinking about maybe a Hultafors stainless steel or the Mora stainless steel blade. And then have one extra for batoning the firewood. And I'm thinking about maybe the Cold Steel GI Tanto, or maybe even just the Hultafors Heavy Duty, which I've been using for over 2 years now, and it's very strong indeed. And this will reduce the weight a lot. This one still will come with me for repairs also, and because I always go fishing, I use this also to remove the fish hooks from the fish, and maybe take my pot and pans off the fire when it's hot. So that's my short review of the knives I brought to Sweden. As I said, I will add some weights later on, and I will also present maybe in a later stadium I will present the alternative knives I might bring next time when hiking and when I have to carry all my stuff on my back. Thanks for watching. The next review will be of my cooking gear. Okay, take care, bye bye.